Good morning. Good morning. Okay, let's turn down the music, shall we? Let's turn down the music. I'm feeling good. I am feeling, I'm feeling fantastic. This is the Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action and where success is ours for the taking. How are you feeling, people? How are you feeling? Because I'm feeling alive. Oh, truly alive. Oh yeah. I'm feeling alive, full of energy. Vim. Oh yeah. Long may that continue, huh? Oh, let me make an adjustment to this little machine here. There you go. All right, okay. So, welcome to you all. Those of you who are up, it's 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I know. But those people, those involved in creating, building, succeeding, they've been up for hours. Yeah. Those people have been up for hours. Why? Because they understand the importance. It's the early bird, that catches the worm. So I was up at 5 and I did my exercise. And I feel so good for doing my exercise. Yep. Keeping fit, vigorous, focused is what I'm about. Yeah. As a result, I could do much, much more. There's no feeling down here. There's no feeling depressed. There's no feeling destitute. Only upright and strong. This is the Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action. And of course, success is ours for the taking. I welcome you all. Yeah, I welcome you all. This is going to be a truly interesting show this day. So stay tuned. So, if you are listening to us via Galaxy, afiwi.net, I say unto you, welcome, praise Jah, and Rastafari. Bless Ashun. Yeah? Conscious community. The conscious community. If you're listening to us and viewing us, view YouTube and Facebook, I say unto you, long may you do so. Give us the thumbs up, yeah? Give us the thumbs up. That helps the algorithm, yeah? So others can find conscious shows, yeah? Please give us the thumbs up during the show and after the show. And share the links with your friends and families, your wider network. Let's grow this show, yeah? Continue to grow the show. I'm going to put it on screen. Let's get it on screen. There you are. So the thumbs up, if you could see us. Yeah, if you see it on your screen, put the thumbs up. Or indeed subscribe so you're notified of each show as they come along. Yeah? Please do that. It just helps to expand the listenership. And lastly, if you are listening to us via Mixcloud, okay, you are truly conscious using alternative methodology. But don't forget galaxyafiwi.net, a truly conscious digital radio station, okay? But through YouTube and Facebook, it's The Motivator Show. That's DE space Motivator space show, just so you don't get mixed up with other people. The Motivated Show. Those of you who understand the reasons why it's D as opposed to THE, you understand. If D is the, yeah? Oh no, the others, yep. That's what it means. The Motivator Show. Okay? So please, just do that for me. Affirmation. The thumbs up will go a long way. Okay? Go a long way. So today's show, as I said, is going to be stimulating, invigorating, uplifting. That's the purpose of these shows. It's Origin from the African, Caribbean, continental African peoples of the world. Yeah, the majority peoples of the world. Yeah, that's the essence of the show. But the purpose is to empower, to inform, yeah, to encourage, to nurture. So we will do collectively better. Mhm. We collectively will do better. And we're going to get back to that tone later on. Collectively, we all working together will do better. Mhm. Okay. But before I get to any of that, let's continue with the usual format of this part of the show. And some of you be aware that I have other hats, a very public hat. Okay. And part of that role, my public arena, being a local elected councillor, is that I see stats on general performance of the communities that we represent here. In relation to my own community, specifically my own community, okay, and many Asian communities, particularly from the Indian subcontinent, Bangladesh and Pakistan, okay, there are specific issues that specifically affect our communities. And that's in relation to our health. And as I get older, I become even increasingly health conscious for common sense, good reasons. I see stats which are terrifying, which means that we are engaged in activities, behaviors that in the medium or long term are harmful to us, simply harmful. Okay? And common sense dictates that we should consider the behavior and change it. Okay? That's what I say, consider to change for your personal, family, and wider community good. I see the health stats amongst other stats, the figures and analysis of how specific conditions affect our communities. And they make for uncomfortable reading. Okay? So I'm obliged, because I see the information, to share that information and suggest to you we take an alternative course. But I have children, yeah? And they will meet your children, okay? But we want both sides to be healthy. Health is our wealth. There's a wonderful presenter on GaddisonFui.net. He always says, your health is your wealth. I cannot argue with that. Again, that's just common sense, isn't it? That's where the real wealth is to be found. So I want to focus on, for a few minutes, our collective health. Not my health, our collective health, our family's health. So bear with me, I ask you please, to bear with me. Don't turn off. Don't shut down. Please don't become defensive. But I say all what I say, not for personal gain, not through hubris, but because it affects us and the wider families and the wider communities. I ask you simply to consider the amount of sugar and salt that you consume every day. Yes, those basic ingredients, the amount of sugar and salt that you consume every day. I want you to consider one of the impacts of excessive consumption of sugar, which is diabetes. And diabetes runs at a level way above the national level here in Britain. And most certainly is the case in the Caribbean and parts of West Africa, where there's an overconsumption of sugar. I no longer add sugar to my teas and coffees, and I strictly limit the amount of the soft or those fizzy drinks tinned drinks in particular that I used to consume as a youngster. Okay? And that's where the problem begins, developing habits and developing a taste for sugar as a youngster. But diabetes is a debilitating condition to contract, where your body no longer responds to insulin. Yeah, I think the expert would say become numb to it. So you're no longer processing sugar as you wish. And those of you with diabetes will testify, I'm sure, that it is an inconvenient and sometimes debilitating condition and could potentially, in some severe cases, result in loss of limbs, but most certainly reduction in the quality of one's life. Yes, there are medications. Well, why don't we avoid the need for medication by modifying our behavior? And I know it's difficult. Trust me, I get it. It is difficult. I still possess a sweet tooth, but I keep those urges under manners. I'm a grown man. I keep those urges under manners. Yes, if you like, under control. They do not dominate my behavior. Consequently, I no longer add excessive amounts of sugar to my daily diet. And if it is found, it's usually found in fruit, which I'll get to later on. So I ask you to consider the amount of sugar that you consume each day, or sucrose that might be described on the packaging. I equally ask you to consider the amount of salt that you consume each day. And salt, of course, is one of those pernicious ingredients we add to our food to enhance the flavors of our food. Again, out of habit. There is no need to do so. I repeat, there is no need to do so. We consume, particularly those of us in the West, far too much salt. Far too much salt, just like sugar. Far too much salt. Hardening our arteries, raising of our blood pressures, yeah? Because our heart has to work even harder to pump the blood around our bodies, yeah? Or hypertension, as the experts would refer to it. But high blood pressure, again, is found in far too many of our families. Far too many. Just like diabetes. Far too many. But these are fundamentally lifestyle conditions. Fundamentally, they are lifestyle conditions. Yes, in the case of diabetes, there are some genetic predispositions that some people will possess. That's true. But the overwhelming majority of people with diabetes and hypertension or high blood pressure is fundamentally the result of lifestyle. So I ask you to consider the amount of sugar and salt that you consume. I also and equally ask you to consider the amount of carbohydrates and fat that you consume. Carbohydrate particularly found in those root vegetables, okay, such as the yams. I know, I hear the people, them, don't worry, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, yam from some of our communities is one of those staple additions. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But also flour. Yeah, breads. Some of this white bread you see. We eat far too much of it, and we do it every day. It has a cumulative, often negative impact on our bodies. And similarly for fats, you know, when you buy the meat, you see these white streaks in the meat. Yes, that's fat. Yeah. And all your body is going to do is store it as it does with the carbohydrate as in the form of energy. You see members of our communities with those bloated shoulders, those bloated abdomens, those bloated thighs, and indeed those bloated buttocks. Yeah. But they're bloated. It is not natural. It is bloated. And therefore, far too members of our community are overweight, with all the accompanying conditions and effects being overweight has on our physiology. Okay? It is not being thick bones, as someone would like to say. Uh-huh. You're simply overweight. If you have a BMI, yeah, above 25, you are overweight. Above 30, you are definitely obese. So you see them all walking around those big bottoms, those big thighs, those big waist. They are overweight. Overweight. And I urge you to think carefully about the long-term health consequences of being overweight, eating excessive amount of calories, and the long-term health consequences that you are now suffering. And if you are gradually increasing your BMI, increasing your weight, you are building up health conditions in near and far future. So I simply urge you to consider the amount of carbohydrates and fat that you consume each day. And I get it, it is difficult. I get it, it is difficult. Trust me, I get it, it is difficult. To change a habit of a lifetime requires real willpower, yeah, real skill. I get it. This is where we all must show love for each other and support each other. Show love for each other and support each other. Okay? And no, I've spoken to a group of women this week. No, women should not weigh more than a man at the same height. And I was in a room, I'm 6'1", okay? And I'm around 145 pounds, using the American terms, okay? Around 150, 145 pounds, okay? All the women in this room who were no higher than 5'8" were heavier than myself. All the women. All the women. I don't say there wasn't one. They were all heavier than myself. Yep. I'm 6'1". The highest, the tallest person was 5'8". The rest were most certainly below 5'8", down to 5 foot. They were all heavier than myself. Yeah. Some had children as well. Yeah. In fact, most had children. You know, you're building up health consequences with that amount of weight when you're heavier than a man. And I say this with love. I repeat, I say this with love. Yeah, because the long-term consequences we all have to suffer. It's not just yourselves. But if you need help, and if in doubt what I'm saying here, please seek professional advice. Go to your doctor, go to your GP, go to a nutritional pharmacist, yeah? Go to the nutritionist or whoever has access to your medical records. They, the professionals, will provide you with tailor-made advice specifically for you, because they will have an insight as to you and your physiology, your history. Mine is but general advice, but just common sense advice. And lastly, in regards to this section, I ask you to consider the amount of those ingredients in our diet, yeah, that derive from rice. What do you think I'm going to say? From rice. Mm-hmm. Those of you from West Africa, I know the jollof rice. Those of you from the Caribbean, I know the rice and peas. And generally, our consumption of rice is excessive. Because what happens is we store the chemicals in rice in our bodies, and it has that bloating impact. The experts recommend you should do the following. You should consume between 2 to 3 liters of water per day, roughly. It depends upon your height and mass currently, okay? Again, speak to your doctor, speak to the expert. Let them give you the specific advice that's appropriate for you. I have my water handy here. I have it handy here, okay? In fact, I'm going to have a sip now. Why not? I sip throughout the day, yeah? Just to keep myself, my body hydrated. Mm-hmm. Secondly, they recommend consuming far more fruits and vegetables, particularly the green vegetables, okay? And if you are going to eat meat, no more than 5% or so of your total nutritional intake, but far more fruits and vegetables, particularly the green vegetables, the broad range of vegetables, nevertheless. That's what's recommended. That is what's ideal for the human physiology. In other words, our bodies and its growth and general maintenance, and to produce a strong immune response when exposed to bacteria, viruses, and other maladies that pervades our environment. That's what they recommend. Far more fruits and vegetables, appropriate amounts of water, and vitally, most critically, which I always introduce these shows with, exercise is absolutely critical. Huh? I have my weights right here. I love my weights after a good run, and my stretching. I love doing my weights. God, I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, I feel my muscles, but I have a kind of sedentary lifestyle. I work in offices. I sit down. I speak to people on the phone much of the day. Yeah. Or I'm writing reports, sending far too many emails. Oh my dear. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. Don't naturally exercise, but these weights are wonderful, and I recommend them. I commend them to you. Yeah, I commend them to you. Because trust me, you feel those muscles. All of my muscles are being stretched and pulled and pushed. Yeah. Why? Because our bodies are genetically programmed to want to work. That's what we're supposed to do. When the human species was specifically on the African plains, and you had to go hunt for your food, being best word I'm about to say, being in a position to be able to run and hunt for your food was critical. Being strong was critical. Yeah, being in good shape, absolutely critical. And that's a part of our genetic programming, our genetic makeup. To engage in other behavior is to harm your bodies. I say again, to engage in other behaviors such as sitting down for long periods of time, not exercising your bodies, not drinking appropriate amount of water, and eating some foods to excess, generally, is not going to help your general health and well-being. Generally. Some cases, don't misunderstand, it's fine, they'll get through it regardless. But in the majority of cases, and I'm included, we need to exercise. We need to think about what we consume each day. Yeah, we need to think about the impact of our behavior on our bodies, and does it aid and abet our general health and well-being? I urge you to do the same. I urge you to do the same. Exercise is a vital part of your general health and well-being. That's not to in any way diminish the importance of taking care of our mental and spiritual health. In no way meant to undermine that, because that's equally as important. If in doubt regards your mental health, please seek out professional advice. Speak to that person who you most trust about how you're feeling. Yeah. And ask that person who you love and respect for advice. I'm confident that person will enable you to find the necessary professional advice to help you. Your spiritual health, particularly as African people, is a vital part of who we are, a part of our civilization, if you like, yeah? Our anti-violence, anti-aggression tendencies is tied up in our spiritual awakening, spiritual awareness. Okay? It is vital you take care of your spiritual health. And on that road to taking care of your spiritual health, I recommend meditation. To be able to meditate for a few minutes, 30 minutes or an hour per day is the equivalent to dreaming a beautiful dream, even though you're clearing your mind of all sorts. What you do, you raise your energy levels, your spiritual levels, if you like. Yeah. And you take on a sense of being and confidence that is really quite indescribable using words. I do so every day. So if I come on to these shows first thing of the morning, I'm very much a morning person, and I'm alive and I'm vigorous, it's because I've carried out my disciplines, I call them, yeah, the exercise, yeah, all parts of my body. I have drunk the water. I'm refreshing my body, detoxifying my body. Exercise, detoxifying. Had the water. Yeah. I've drank the water with pleasure. Mhm. Then I've meditated to focus my mind. So I'm ready to face the day. And why I'm here with you again today. Praise be. And long may these words resonate with you. And please share these messages with your family, your loved ones, with your friends and your wider networks, with the wider community. I ask that you share these words with those of us, and those you know need to hear these words. Don't worry, I know we are stubborn people. Trust me, I'm no different. But common sense should be common. Often it is not. Okay? And I'm not perfect, but wow, I've seen far too many people fall by the wayside because they did not apply common sense, particularly in relation to their health. So I urge you to share the messages, share the links of these shows with your families, your friends, your neighbors, the wider community, and let them decide for themselves their futures. It's a decision they must make for themselves. There's no forcing, there's no compelling. It's a decision they must make for themselves. And when they're ready, I am confident they will do so. Praise be, praise be. All right, okay. Thank you. And thank you for listening. And thank you for viewing that part of the show. It is vital, absolutely vital. And I want to respond to those who've written and acknowledge the benefit this second of the show has brought to their lives. You know, I know lives have been shared, lives have been spared as a result of these messages. The changing of behavior, recognizing what is good for us, for we, for we. Mhm. There you go. All righty. Now then, I want to move on. Because we're going to have an exciting show. I'm going to have some exciting guests. I'm stimulated beyond, well, I'm truly stimulated. But our guest is one of those inspired individuals in our community. Another one of those inspired individuals. What I want to do first of all, before I move on, is really to give some recognition to our previous shows. Okay, and I want to recognise, and you know, I've got to tell you, as I do these shows, I'm always astonished as the way in which the community responds. I want to recognise again the esteemed elder Kwaku, first of all, the historian, the yeah, the author, the educator. And if you haven't gone to the Eventbrite section, which lists all of his various educational programs, I want to encourage you to do so. Okay. And the reason why I mentioned Quarko, and I'll come up to others as well, is that what he represents is consistency. He is consistent. No, I listen to many, okay? I listen to many. And I'm always astonished just how inconsistent that they are, okay? But he's very consistent. He means what he says, okay? So if you go to the Eventbrite and put in African let's see. The best way I describe it. Sorry, best way of putting it. It's got a slightly longer title than I would like, but let me just get it right for you. Be quoted correctly, because he would not appreciate it if I get this wrong. Here we go. I'm sorry, Quaco. Here we are. Get it right. There we go. So, uh, it is called, and I just want to get it right. There we go. Yes, it is. Yeah, BTWSC events. BTWSC, then events with an S at the end. Okay, we put that in Eventbrite, and each of its various lessons will appear. Okay, and currently, this week, I understand, if I get it right, quite cool. And if you're listening, I don't mind you calling in, but yes, the next one, indeed, and it is opportune. He calls it the Disrupting British African History Session, Fact Checking the Windrush Narrative, okay, which will be on Monday, the 19th of June, from 6:30 in the evening. That's the next lesson that he's providing for the whole community. In other words, we got to take control of the Windrush, so-called Windrush narrative. Okay. Okay. So it's really an important one. I want to encourage you, go to Eventbrite. Okay. And the names of his lessons is BTWSC events. Okay, so well done, Elder and Honourable Kwaku. Well done, well done. Next one I want to give light to, and I know many of you will completely understand why I'm doing this one. And last week's show, I'm going to hope most of you, if you didn't listen to or view last week's show, okay, last week's show was particularly poignant, okay. We were able to, again, take away the mystery around Biafra and particularly the Igbo people. Mhm. I want to give praise and respect to Elder and Wise Counsel Justice. Wasn't that a fantastic show? Yeah? Wasn't that a fantastic show? Didn't he present to us in a way that was truly powerful? Yeah. Did he not do that so well? Yeah. Did he not demonstrate the wonder and the beauty of the Igbo people of Nigeria? Okay. Did he not do that so well? Mhm. I say that with a certain heavy heart, because I know, of course, the Igbo people of Nigeria continue to go through some strife. I recognize that. And the Biafran War, and we should never forget it, yeah, was a turning point in the history of Nigeria. Okay. So it was good to listen and better understand the Igbo people, the culture, the traditions. I want to appreciate the elder, the honorable justice. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And long may your work continue. Okay. Long may your work continue. And there's a particular point around this, and I should really just mention this, of course, that the history of Biafra, we focus very much on the Igbo people, but there are many communities that make up that part of Nigeria, broadly referred to as Biafra. And we're going to get justice back again. And we're going to better understand the dynamics, the people that make up that part of Nigeria. So this will be a series of educational experiences. We will be entertained, infused, amazed. But ultimately, our respect for the Igbo people and the people of that part of Nigeria called Biafra, okay, we will respect them and hold them in the esteem that they deserve. praise be to you all, those of you who are Igbo people. Thank you. Thank you all for the contribution you have made to human civilization. Thank you. Thank you. And then lastly, because the time is pressing me, lastly, I want to also give light to another show that I did. And I am going to mention this one again. I did last week, I'm going to mention it again. I want to give recognition and applaud the 8th Earl of Harewood, David Lascelles. Mhm. Why am I want to do that? Because his website, with a number of families, referred to as being the heirs of slavery website. His family is what is generally referred to as a former enslaver family, who were compensated, of course, for enslaving our ancestors, Africans of the past. But he had the courage to come along and be with us today, or a few weeks ago, I should say, and share with us his feelings about the history of his family and his desire to make amends and give support to our communities and our social and economic evolution, upliftment. I want to applaud his courage and recognize him for his desires. And long may that continue, sir. Long may that continue. Okay? It is a tough one. It took a few times in order for that, in order for that show to go forward. Because it's quite evident that there are people outside the community, and indeed inside the community, who did not want that show to happen. Why? Make connection when trillions of pounds were transferred to those families who enslaved our ancestors. Trillions of pounds in today's money, trillions of pounds was shared with them. So they live a plutocrat's lifestyle. Okay, a plutocrat's lifestyle. That's how rich most of those families remain today. And Harewood House is now in the public purse. Okay, in other words, general public owns it. It's a trust. Okay, you can go visit it. Yeah, you could see some of the former enslaver family members. But at least he had the courage to speak to us. I hope others will have the courage to speak directly to the African communities. I say African to denote the fact. I could say black, but I would have said African because all black people, either from Africa or from Australasia. Okay, interesting, huh? So we remain African wherever we are. Okay, either in Europe, Britain, the Caribbean, South America, North America, we remain African in essence. We may not practice our culture and traditions, but genetically we remain African in essence. As a former a Labour Prime Minister would have said, we are kith and kin. But he was referring to his own people at the time. Okay, important lesson. But I applaud David Lascelles and his courage, and I hope he will encourage other former enslaver families to speak directly to African people through the Motivator Show, where we translate words into action and remembering success is ours for the taking. Okay, let's get this show on the road because I've got an exciting guest, someone who's truly stimulating, who's displayed the consistency. I mentioned Brother Kwaku earlier on. This particular brother is someone whose reputation precedes them. Consistency is what matters. There are many flash in the pans, but this particular guest has a quality of consistency, a determination to succeed, regardless of whatever odds you put before him. So let's get this show on the road. Now, first of all, let's bring in. Oh, I believe my co-presenter's arrived. My co-presenter. Are you around there, Empress Abner? Empress Abner. Oh,
Morning, everyone.
morning. We can't see you, my dear.
I'm having some issues with my laptop, so I'm on my phone
Oh,
today.
oh no.
Sorry, the charger broke down. I'm using someone else's charger, and then my laptop keeps turning off. So I've only got my voice today, unfortunately.
Your voice is lovely, if I may say so.
So, oh God. Anyway, so I'm just gonna say good morning, everyone. I hope you have been enjoying the sunshine. It has been great.
Hmm.
A bit polluted, but it's been great. But yeah, I'm really good. It's been a very, very busy week, extremely busy week. It's going to be an even busier week next week as well. So yeah.
Okay. Empress, are you ready? I'm going to bring my guest in. We got to.
Yes, you can bring your guest in.
Okay, let's bring our guest in. If I can, I see a guest arrived. I'm going to bring my guest in. There we go. There we go. Let's try this. Hold on a second. Oh, this is interesting. It's got a different. Let's try this one. Let's try this here. I'm going to put him up here and put him up there. There you go. Oh, there. Oh, he's smiling. Oh, brother, no. Get that right. I remember I was corrected last time. I'm going to say Naya.
Nia.
Yeah, I've got it right. Brother Naya, how are
Nia.
you this morning?
Nia.
It's Nia. It's brother Nia.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, got that. We can't hear you, though.
Oh, really?
We can't hear you. Oh, no, we can't hear you. Oh, okay. Was a good start.
That's you.
We heard you.
Yeah, you got me now?
We've got you now. We've got you.
Hey,
No, we lost you again. Oh, okay.
brother Nia.
Your volume. We've lost your audio again. We've lost your audio again.
Woohoo!
Lost your audio, brother Nia. Okay, we had you for a moment. We lost you again. Okay, 1 second. Let's check. No, it's not my end. It definitely is your end. Looking at this, can you just adjust your microphone?
It's on full blast.
Oh, got you. It came up then last time.
Aha, you got me now?
Yeah, that's it. Whatever you're doing. Okay.
I've done nothing. I'm just chilling.
Now then, that's interesting. Now you seem to come and go. All righty. In that case, we'll just see if we can make adjustments as you speak. Let's see what could be doing this. 1 second. Just check my technology here. No, brother Nia.
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can now. That's right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is going to be interesting. Let's see if I can overcome this for you. But in a moment, 1 moment, let's just check my technology here for you. And okay. All right. Okay, we'll cope. We will cope because this is the second time we've had you on. It does seem far too long. So I'm going to publicly say, unashamedly, I apologize. It has been so long.
Oh, don't worry. I usually sleep in it this time.
Oh, don't say that because my hears you say that.
I work late hours.
I know the feeling. Don't you worry. I know the feeling. I know we have communicated early morning. I hear you. I hear you. But, brother Nia, good morning. Now, I've said before, your reputation precedes you. Now, my audience wants to reacquaint themselves, really want to get to know you. So I'm going to ask this opening question. Can you share with us an event that has determined your life path? Yeah.
Cool. I mean, there's been a few.
That's meaningful, that shaped your life path.
Cool. I mean, which particular path? I mean, I assume you mean the path towards NABS.
It's your choice.
I've many paths.
I know so.
But yeah, I mean, the one that shaped me towards the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools was back in 1991, 92. Some people weren't even born then, but yeah. So back
Mm.
I
in
was born.
91, I had my weekends free. I'm a chef, so I had my weekends free, which is unusual for that particular trade. And I was listening to a radio station, and they put an advert up for a help at Saturday school, which happens to be the African Nubian Foundation Saturday School, which is still going to this day, which is like I feel 33 years now, I think. But yeah, they put an advert in for some help at weekends, and I was just coming into some form of consciousness because I've always been the kind of person that's always asked questions, and if I don't get an answer, I'll look for an answer myself. That's what got me into a lot of trouble in school, but I need answers to questions that are pertinent to my life. So I was coming to the questions, and this was at the time of all this publicity about African Caribbean children underachieving. So I
Mm.
thought, okay, I've got my weekends free. Let me put something back into the community. So I went along to help. I was there as like a little teaching assistant. I was helping, and I saw 5 and 6 year old black children, African heritage children, doing algebra.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Yes.
Their names in hieroglyphics, doing
Wow.
fractions, doing stuff that not even secondary school children were doing in year 7. Now it's like year 7. It's the first year in secondary school. They were doing stuff in like primary school age, reception age, what they do in the first year of secondary school. So I'm thinking to myself, what is all this about underachieving of black children when these children are excelling at their age group?
Yes.
So I was there for a year. This is the African Nubian Foundation Saturday School. Now they're based in Wandsworth, and I've got these schools on a directory on the NABS website, which is www.nabss.org.uk. So I was there teaching, and I said to myself, you know what, this is brilliant. This is before I had my children, so I said to myself, when I have my children, they are coming to this Saturday school. It's going to be no questions asked. They're coming to this Saturday school. So 10 years later, I had my children, and they attended the same Saturday school. And my daughter's learning about Mary Seacole.
Wow.
Long before is the campaign to get her on the curriculum. My
Mm.
daughter's learning how to write her name in hieroglyphics. So when
Mm.
she went to a reception now, they went to with the mainstream school. They went to a trip to the British Museum,
Yes.
and she saw a carving of no, no, what was it? Yeah, she saw the hieroglyphics on the wall. They got a cutout or breakout of the hieroglyphics on the wall. She says, Miss, I know what it means." And
Mm-hmm.
the teacher thought she was joking. She goes, "Oh, okay, young lady." She goes, Miss, I know what it means." She goes, she says, "Okay, young lady, if you think you're smart, come and teach the class." And she did. And she
Wow.
came back and told me the story. I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
Oh,
yes, the
yes.
system works."
Yes.
The following year now, they start talking about Florence Nightingale in the classroom.
Yeah.
She puts her hand up again. She goes, Miss, it wasn't Florence Nightingale doing all the work. It was Mary Seacole." Teacher's
Yes.
like, "Who's Mary Seacole?" She taught the class. Came home and told me the story. I'm like, yeah, yes, come on, oh my girl. The system works. Our system works. So if my daughter's excelling and doing so well in a Saturday school where we teach our history and our culture, as well as their history and culture as well, why can't it work for other parents? So at the time, I was a single parent. So I was going to a lot of parental classes and a lot of parental things and the parent governor as well. So I'm meeting other parents, other black parents, and they're complaining about the school being racist and the children underachieving. I'm like, the first thing that comes out my mouth is, why don't you send your child to a Saturday school? And the
Yeah.
first response always was, I have never heard of them. I don't know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then while I was going to African Nubian Foundation Saturday School, we were based in Brixton. I'm living in Westminster. We were going to Mashufa Martial Arts in Tottenham Friday night, getting up early on Saturday to go to Saturday school. Children didn't like it, but we had to do it. And then through circumstances of the premises, which is an issue with our Saturday schools, so anybody who's got premises, please help out our Saturday schools. The Nubia school had to move down to Croydon. So that meant we had to get up an extra hour earlier on a Saturday morning. And it's tough. It was tough, but I was dedicated to my children going to a Saturday school. But one
Yes.
of the Sebas, one of the teachers said, "Listen, brother Nia, I understand you're coming in late and you're getting up early and you're dedicated to this Saturday school, but there's another Saturday school near where you live in Kilburn." I'm like, "Raw, okay." I'll have some of that. Thank you very much. So when I was there, we went to an event put on by the 100 Black Men at the time. Tony from Black History Walks was part of the 100 Black Men. He put on an event for Saturday schools, and I found another 6 black Saturday schools there. I'm like, where are all these Saturday schools coming from out of the woodwork? And we had one parent that was traveling from Stratford to Kilburn to the Saturday school, and there was a Saturday school on her doorstep that nobody even mentioned.
Right.
So I thought to myself, why aren't we sharing this information about our Saturday schools?
Yes.
Hence why I set the website for NABS to put these Saturday schools on the website so parents can find them and get the best help for our children.
Good. This is the types of inspirational personal accounts I knew you would provide, because your path is not dissimilar to my own, I have to say. But I want to talk about myself. You are the center of our stage. What I'm going to do before I go on to the next, I want to bring up the website on the screen. Okay, I'm just going to ask you this various section of this website. I want to encourage parents and guardians to go to this website. I think it's a remarkable resource. And I don't mind saying to you and to others, and we'll come to it later on, we should be supporting this website, not simply utilizing the information, but providing the resources so you and others can continue to ensure this website is available to the next generation. Okay, that's what I want to encourage. I absolutely want to encourage. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if I may, Naya, oh God, I'm going to get.
Yeah.
But of course, in Galaxy, you've got someone else by that other name. You know that, don't you? Nia. Got that. I'll get it right. Don't you worry. I'll get it right.
It's the meaning. Nia means purpose in Kiswahili. It means purpose. So I don't know what Naya means, but Nia means purpose.
Okay. I understand you. So I'm just going to bring up that website, and I just want to just for a moment, because it is a truly inspirational experience, and I'll just get it up on my screen in a moment, and for some reason it has disappeared. It will come up. Oh, there we are. Got it down. There we go. Can you see it? Can you see your website?
Yes, I can now. Yes.
Oh, brilliant. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the directory section, which is what you're referring to now.
Yes.
So you now have schools across most of Britain recorded here on the website. Is that right?
Yeah, the ones I can find, yes.
Brilliant. Now then, it is interesting, as you say, the one that you can find. So how does a school that might be listening to and viewing this show, how can they get themselves onto this website?
They can contact me by phone or email or through social networks, but they must be African heritage schools. I don't do the mixed ones, because the important thing is learning our African history, and the mixed ones don't tend to do that.
Absolutely right. So I see the telephone number is quoted here. I'm allowed to give out that telephone number, am I?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. So if you first of all, if you want to find a Saturday school, or if you are managing a Saturday school, or supplementary school is another term I often hear being used, my brother, but I'll give out the telephone number. It's 07958 348 558. I'll repeat the number, 07958 348 558. Although the website address, and I'll say it slowly, but those of you who are listening to us via galiciafui.net, I'll put it on the internal directory. And those of you, of course, viewing us via YouTube or Facebook, you can see it on your screen, but the website address is www.nabss.org.uk. I repeat, nabss.org.uk. Okay, and it is a truly invaluable resource. I can also confirm I use your resource when my children were babies. Okay.
If you click on the menu, click on the Kwanzaa, there'll be
I
another
should.
drop-down box of other
Okay.
resources. Because the problem we have in our community is that we don't share other people's information. We're so big on sharing our own. We have a
Yes.
serious issue about sharing other people's resources.
Mhm.
So
So
I think there's a click-down box of other things on the Kwanzaa menu.
I've got it up. I see mental health, home education, news, directories, books, and toys. Can you see that? Which of those would you like me to go to?
Anyone you like.
Okay, let's go to the home education. Let's go to home education. Or in fact, forgive me, books and toys. This is a early morning show. Wow, this is very good. So under the African heritage dolls, these are manufacturers and suppliers, yeah?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, because of course, when my girls were babies, it was a struggle to find African dolls for my baby girls at the time. I have to say, those parents from our community who are happy to give our our children other communities dolls. Well, there are psychological impacts I've got to assert for giving one of our children other people's dolls. Okay, dolls that reflect them, that are a mirror of them, are psychologically rewarding. Okay, and offer real significance in that child's feelings of self worth and well being. That's what I would assert. Okay, and I see here further down African heritage book retailers, and this is brilliant. I see. I'm familiar with BIS publications, the People's Tree Press, the Round Table Books. I'm familiar with them most certainly. Um, the One Love, this is the Book Love Online. I'm familiar with them, and the African Book Collective. Oh wow, these is my memories. Wow, well done you, my brethren. Well done you.
I'm always hearing complaining and moaning and groaning, which we're perfectly entitled to do, but
Yeah,
then we must find solutions. So I
absolutely.
provide solutions. I get phone calls every week, emails every week. I need a black book for my child. I need a black doll. I need this. I need that. So I'll put the resource there and put it off you. I get a lot of phone calls from white parents in Brighton, Hastings, Bristol, Cornwall, even from France and Holland, ringing
Yeah,
up, asking me for black books and black dolls. So I just provide the resources that are there. I support what businesses are already in existence.
brilliant. Thank you. I would say thank you for this really important resource. Really is important. I see the Black Airman books there. Pen Pen people. Wow.
Those are the sponsors. So
Yeah.
people have come forward to sponsor the NABs. I did the NABs Awards, and they came forward as sponsors for the NABs Awards.
Okay.
So that's a constant link at the bottom of every page.
I will be more than happy to sponsor one of the awards if you're going to have one this year. Cool. I know Penn people very well. Very well. They're in here in my borough of Southwark. Wow,
Doing
brilliant.
fantastic work.
Yes,
And,
fantastic
and, he-
work.
and he's a brother I love because he just gets on with it. You know, he goes to the meetings where we're not really associated with, and he finds out information on premises and things that he can get to help the young people in our community. He just
Wow,
gets on with it. He's trying to bring our people in to assist or be part of it, and there's so much ego involved.
yes,
He's like, sure, let me just get on with it.
absolutely.
And they're
I
the
see.
people I've got time for.
No, it is absolutely brilliant. I see Tony Warner and of course the walks he does, which is another powerful brother we've got to keep talking to. I think got to keep. I'm going to take this off for a moment. I did want to just continue because I want to put you back center stage if you don't mind. Okay.
Yes. Oh,
Uh,
one more. If you got, oh, never mind. No, there's
I'm
also
sorry.
the newsletter, which
Mhm.
is updated every week. So the newsletter's got books and toys on there. It's got the community events that are happening around the UK, mostly in London, but that's the information I get. So there's lots of community events on the newsletter, which is updated every week.
I've got it here. Got it. I'll put it up on the screen for you.
If you
Wow.
click on that boy, click on the boy.
Yep. Oh, so you may not see that here. Hold on a second. I'll just need to transfer it across. You start up a new page, apparently. Let me just do that for you. One moment. I'll get it up for you. Get it up
There's
for
a
you.
nice yellow button there for donations, which they shouldn't bypass.
There you go. I want to encourage viewers and listeners to donate, because for this website, this resource to continue, it will only continue if we are committed. And I see you're asking for £10. Oh, please.
It's advertised on the newsletter. It's £10.
Yeah. Look, I think that most people who are listening and viewing, they could find £10. Particularly if you're living in Britain. I think many people can. And if you can't, that's fair enough. But I know a good proportion of you are listening and viewing can afford £10. Huh, come on.
But only cultural or educational adverts, nothing else. No raving and dancing up and down, none of that. Only educational and cultural.
Brilliant. Thank you. Duly noted. Thank you. And thank you for this resource. Thank you. Anything else you'd like?
Could I have the link, please, sent to me so I could use it for my son and my friends' kids? Because it would be really, really good, because we're in South London and a lot of the majority of kids are Black and they're Muslim and they don't have these kind of resources. So it would be really great if I could have the link for this resource.
Empress Abner, consider it done.
Yeah.
Consider it done.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, because like I said, I get phone calls and I get emails every week, and I end up having like a long conversation with some parents, like up to an hour long sometimes, talking about what their experiences are. And when we're talking, like they've been looking for a Saturday school for ages and they couldn't find anything. Suddenly they found me on Google. But when we're talking, we end up knowing the same people.
That's right. Yeah.
I think to myself, why didn't these people mention to you the NABS or the website?
Yes.
And it's happening time and time again. We just don't share important information in the community. If there's a gang fight or someone being stabbed, it's going to go viral.
Viral, yes.
It's something that's going to help our people. People don't want to click the share button.
Yes. But we are changing. We are evolving. We are changing. Through these consistent work, my brother, there is change happening around us consistently. You're giving out so much love. It's going to come back to you. It'll keep coming back to you. Trust me, my brother. The change is well underway. Okay, it is well underway. We should not feel it in any way. It is well underway. Be assured. Be assured. And outlets like this, Galaxy Freeway, Pen People, and others, there are many who are sharing positive information because we are truly a positive people. Well done. I would encourage listeners and viewers to donate, give to this resource so it can continue to thrive, to flourish here in this environment. Okay, I commend this website to you all. So I'm going to repeat the website address. And in fact, if I can just take off this share for a second and go back to the main section of your website. Let's get up your main portal. Here we go. Okay, let me now go back here. So it'll take slightly longer. But anyway, there you are. It's all for a good reason. There you go. There you are. There's the main website, the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools. And the website address, it's www. In other words, 3 W's, nabss.org.uk. Okay, I commend this website to you and a vital resource to the community.
You can see there's a flyer for the NABS Awards 2022. Now,
Yes.
These awards were given out to people in education in our community, people involved in cultural works in our community, and also the Nyama Kurindi Award, which is for ex-Saturday school students that come as teachers.
Wow.
So I'm rewarding them for coming back into the community and helping, because a lot of them are university students. So in their spare time, they're going to help at Saturday school. So we have to recognize our young people that come back into our community and help and do things, because sometimes they get ignored.
Very good. Very good.
And I did these awards because there's a lot of complaining. I think it was around 2016. There were lots of complaints about not enough black people being in the Oscars. I'm like,
Aha.
when we're complaining about not being in the Oscars, why aren't we doing our own? I'm like, sure, let me just do our own. So 2017 was the first year I did the NABS Awards. I'm like, just do our own. Why are
Yeah.
you begging other people to be in their things?
Yes. Oh, I'm shouting it loud. I want the audience to hear my affirmation. Yes. Do
And,
it out.
and also, I want to award people while they're still alive.
Yes. Thank
People
you.
doing works while they're still alive and coming through. Let's recognize them and hail them up.
There you go. Thank you, my brethren. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And all these are on the NABS YouTube channel. So they're all there. All the events I've done. Actually, when I look back at it, I'm like, what I've done for the last 15, 16 years. I used to do the NABS week from 2011 to 2014. I did the NABS, a full week of events. 2012 was a mad one. 2012 was the same year as the Olympics, but I was at the Centerprise building in East London, which is now out of our hands now. But at Centerprise, the NABS week there, I did 65 events in 1 week.
Wow.
And I'm sure only the Olympics had more events in 1 week.
Wow.
In this country. 65 events in 1 week. And it was from like health, nutrition, poetry events. We did a fundraiser for the Mama Art Center. It was crazy. We did a lot of stuff.
Okay. Thank you, my brother. I'm going to take off this sharing for now, but I just want to just continue with the interview because the information you're sharing is so rich. I have to tell you. But let me just get back to the basics here. Why are supplementary schools important to children of African heritage? Why are they important? Please share.
This is the early intervention that we all need for our children because when you're young and you have self-belief and you got aspirations for yourself and you're given those aspirations at a young age, it makes a significant difference on how you see the rest of the world and how you see your future. This is where we bring in like entrepreneurs and we bring in black doctors and black entrepreneurs, people that look like us into schools that look like us. In mainstream schools, they're cotton onto it very late, but we need to see ourselves in the picture to be part of that picture. And this is the early intervention that we need. The self-esteem just goes through the roof when children learn what we have done, what we are doing, and what we can do at a young age.
Absolutely. Wow. Powerful.
I do believe it was actually the African Heritage Saturday schools were the first ones to actually go into universities. I think my son used to go to the West Side Young Leaders Academy, run by Robert Andrew Mohammed and Leo Mohammed and his team there. And at the time, universities were like a no-go area for young people. They wouldn't let young people in there. And then we had a visit there with 8-year-olds going into university. The idea was to give them the wow factor of something to aim for. And then since then, the mainstream schools have started bringing in doing school trips to universities. I think universities are realizing that if we get children in young, we'll give them like the wow factor and give them something to aim for. But from what I saw, it was the black Saturday schools that started that trend.
Interesting. Just taking board what you just said, and first of all, I know you're 100% correct. Okay, the numbers of children, are they growing or declining? This was a question posed to me this week. That there's a suggestion that the support for supplementary Saturday schools was declining. I don't see that. Do you?
Yes, I do. Lots have closed down. Pre-lockdown, but lockdown was devastating. Lockdown kind of helped some schools actually go online, use new technology to go online. So after lockdown, some schools didn't reopen, some reopened, but some stayed online, which it does help a bit having online schooling, and some both online and offline. But when I visit our Saturday schools, it's usually a lot of the time it's like one room, one classroom with multiple age groups. There are a few that can manage a few more, but usually it's one classroom with multiple age groups. When I go to the Asian schools and the Chinese schools, it's a whole secondary school. A whole secondary school. We're struggling with one classroom. They have whole schools to themselves. And I see it time and time again. We're the biggest complainers about the education system, but we do the least for ourselves.
I definitely agree. I think it's about investing, and I
That's
think
it.
sometimes we invest in the wrong areas. We invest in certain things that we know are not going to promote our children or give them that experience. Whereas other communities, the Asian, the Chinese, they heavily invest in certain things to build their children's future. And I definitely agree with that.
How
That's the word,
is the
invest.
question?
Because when I hear parents say, I can't go afford my son to go to a Saturday school, you can't afford £10 a week. Well, look at his, £60 football top and his £80 trainers. That's a school fee for the year.
Yes.
It's more important.
Or they're investing in their hair and their makeup. I think some people invest in things that they don't
Hold
need
on, but
to.
yeah. Okay. Whilst you're both correct, hold on, let me make it clear. Right. Whilst you're both correct, I am seeing a changing attitude, a recognition that education, particularly culturally centric education, is a vital component in raising the confidence and ambitiousness of our children. That I'm most certainly detecting within the community. But of course, what I'm not detecting in sufficient quantities, of course, is the leadership of those schools, developing competences. Okay, that's what I'm not detecting, which might account for a number of these schools falling off over time. I believe if there is a thirst for the schools, but what we have yet to develop, and maybe my brethren, this is an area of work you might want to get involved in. That's to build up leadership competences, because it is a complex activity in many ways to run a school to prepare our next generation. Because these are each individual, each young person is an individual with a range of both material and psychological needs. Okay, and each have respond to particular learning styles. Okay, um, and if you want to be able, you've got to understand the child. The child is the center, so that that child can benefit from the knowledge that you wish to share. And those are skills. I've been a school governor previously for 27 years. Okay, and I've observed teachers in action, and a good teacher are worth their weight in cold bullion, in computer chips, which are even more valuable these days.
Mm-hmm.
They are absolutely worth it. So investing in teaching, in teachers, I believe is mission critical. And if there's anything I want to do with yourself, that's to help to invest in teachers, okay? Those who can teach and teach well and inspire the young mind. Okay, that's my observation. I don't know what your observation might be, my brother, as to reasons why there might be some decline. Okay, you mentioned COVID. Okay, but what other reason do you think might be accounting for the decline?
Children get a choice. That's a big decline. I mean, especially like primary school age, it's probably a bit easier to get children into a Saturday school. But
Yes.
once they reach the secondary school age, when they get to 12, 13 onwards, it's very difficult to keep them in because they want to hang with their brethren, they want to play football or play sports, go swimming or go to dance classes or stay in their bed. It's very difficult after the primary school age to keep them in the school. So you tend to find a lot of the supplement schools are full of primary school age children.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't give my children a choice.
Well, I was about to say it. I was about to say it. I didn't give mine a choice either. I didn't like it at first.
As a parent, you got to get up with them in the morning. So some parents
Uh,
don't want to get up on a Saturday morning,
yeah,
but the children have to come first.
yeah, absolutely. And I made sure each of them, in addition to going to the supplementary school, that they had individual maths, science, English teachers. I made sure they went to music classes. Each of them had to play music, and of course, go to language class as well. Yes, I spent a lot of money, but these were that
You invested a lot of money.
you invested. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And it has paid off bountifully. bountifully, absolutely bountifully. I
Because,
can also,
because when adults, when parents send their children to a university, they see it as an investment.
yes,
They know how expensive it is, and they'll pull out all the stops to make sure
yeah,
your child gets into university. That's the same attitude we need to have with our own Saturday schools, because that gives them the grounding to even attain to go to university in the first place. You know, that it gives us a ground to not get involved in this nonsense on the street. Most of our children don't get involved. They don't get involved in the gang stuff. They've got such a high mentality, high belief. They don't get involved in this nonsense because they've learned from a young age.
that's right.
This is the early intervention that we're looking for.
Um, it's a subject I'm going to tackle in future weeks about the gang activity and so on, and what we allow our children to do in their leisure time. Note, I say allow our children to do in their leisure time. Okay, tomorrow is one of the very important days of the year, the third Saturday of June. It's Father's Day, apparently. Okay, and respecting fatherhood is a issue in our community. Mhm. You are an example of a good father, dedicated father. You've demonstrated what good fathers do. Okay, and when you have a good father around, it's difficult for a child to fail. Very, very difficult. Okay, very, very difficult. You're right. It's an investment. But if I may, because you've outlined the importance of the school, of the supplementary schools, both to transmit our culture and tradition, um, to uh, contradict often the narrative that they will be taught in British society about ourselves. Okay,
And themselves.
so say again.
And we also learn British history from our perspective.
Thank you.
It's
In
not
other
just
words,
our history, it's everybody's history.
narrative. Absolutely. We control the narrative. So, as I said at the previous program in regard to enslavement, okay, why was it abolished? It was abolished because we made it uneconomic. That's what's not being recorded. We continuously rebelled. We burned the fields, destroyed the equipment. We even killed those who oversaw and who owned. But we made it uneconomic. It is that narrative which is not shared
Yeah.
generally, okay? Because that would empower and raise the confidence and determination of our children. Mhm. Okay, all right. But let me not go into that. So it's clear the necessity and the importance of Saturday schools or supplementary. Which of the two terms should we use, Bedroom? Saturday or supplementary?
Supplementary, because some schools are after school clubs during the week. Some are Friday evenings, like Descendants in Ealing, they're Friday evening. So
Mhm.
supplementary to supplement their lives.
Thank you. Beautifully said. Supplement their lives. Yeah. I didn't catch what you said afterwards.
That was it. Supplement their lives.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, my next question for you. Why is the attitudes of parents to academia or general education important in a child's life?
The first teachers in a child's life are the parents. So
Indeed.
if the parents have a high priority with education, that will be taught to the child. You
Mm.
know, so yeah, first come is the parents.
Just to be clear about this, and of course you're right, and I just want to just probe that a little bit because I know there are many parents listening. Yeah? Okay. What is it about their attitude that's important? What should a parent do specifically in relation to their children and their attitude to knowledge or academia? What is it about the parent attitude?
I mean, the parent doesn't necessarily have to come from an academic background, but the
Indeed.
parent must want the children to do better than them. So make sure that the children have the resources in
Yes.
the household, the books, the images, the things available to the child in their home. First priority.
Absolutely right. The books and the images, you know,
And
because we are.
if the parent can't do it, find somebody else who can.
There you go. There you go. So that's the other piece of work. So in addition to the raising the competencies of the management of our supplementary schools, okay, is support for parents. Okay, now in many boroughs across London, I'm noticing Black parents forums being formed. We've got one here in my borough of Southwark, for example, which addresses these issues and support parents and supporting their children in terms of their schools and a general community engagement. Okay. So we've got one here in Southwark, in my part of London. I know there's one in Lambeth and equally in Lewisham, Wandsworth and Greenwich. Okay. These are important resources. So I say to parents, seek out your Black Parents Forum, or there'll be it'll go by some descriptor. Okay, and maybe it's another directory for yourself. Maybe that's another directory. I might
Well, give
suggest.
me more work on.
I'm sorry. Look, I'm happy to give you whatever support you need. But I hear you. Look, if you want something done and done well, give it to busy people. And trust me, I am giving a lot. So, but in your case, you have my unreserved admiration. Unreserved admiration. So I know if we give it to you and we give you the resources, you will organize to get it done. Yeah.
That's my
That's
middle name. Get it done.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, I've lost your audio again. Could you repeat what you just said?
That's my middle name. Get it done.
I like the sound of that. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Absolutely. I like the sound of that. The Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action and where success is ours for the taking. I just need to say that. Affirmation. Affirmation to you. Affirmation. Another question for you as we move on. What are the qualities of a good supplementary school that a parent or guardian should look out for? What are the qualities they should look out for a good supplementary school?
Clean premises, have
Mhm.
the policies in order, have good teachers, actually the best teachers I've come across have been unqualified teachers. They've been parents who've gone into the schools to assist. They've been some of the best teachers I've seen. So having good teachers and,
Mhm.
and an organized curriculum and a safe space to be. Those are the basics we need.
Okay. I suspect most parents can recognize a safe space, but they're not. But the other two qualities you mentioned, how would they recognize those? You
Oh,
know?
they have to go and visit. You have
Mhm.
to go and visit, and and make sure, and make sure you're comfortable with the space that's available.
Okay. The
And like I
curriculum.
said, premises with our schools has been a struggle. It's a constant struggle. We've got our big, massive black churches that are empty on a Saturday morning, but there's an issue with the black churches giving our Saturday schools those spaces.
Do you
I did
know?
a conference. I did a conference in 2014 of black schools, and the role of the black churches. I think about 7 pastors turned up. We had a representative from the Seventh-day Adventists, and
Mhm.
I took them to task. What's the issue with Saturday schools using an empty church on a Saturday morning
Mhm.
and for free? Why are you charging exorbitant amounts of money
Mhm.
to our community to educate ourselves?
You make an excellent point, and I know there are a number of pastors viewing this show right now. Okay, and it's a challenge I might put to a few myself. Okay, you're quite correct. Although I also note that with the changing demographics across the country, not just London, uh, there are many primary schools which have recently closed. Okay, and it is possible that even the local educational authorities should consider whether or not those primary schools could be utilised uh, on a Saturday morning in particular, or at times which the supplementary schools in the evening want to utilise the spaces. I've now just been
Some schools
inspired
do.
by a
Some
thought.
schools do. They do.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I think during the 90s and 80s, a lot of the Saturday schools were in mainstream schools. But then
Mhm.
when the school budgets got squeezed, the
Ah,
supplement was squeezed out because they were charging more and more money. They got less money from the government, so they tried to get more money from people using the schools, and that's when
yeah.
Saturday schools started moving out. But now they're allowing they're starting to have Saturday schools back in again. Because some schools they're absolutely packed on a Saturday. West Side
Yes.
Young Leaders Academy they're at somebody calling you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're in a school in Willesden, or they were in a school in Willesden, and that school was packed with dance classes. With the Saturday school was there. The school was just busy on a Saturday. And I used to keep on saying to myself, why are these beautiful buildings empty on a Saturday? Just let the community use these spaces on a Saturday. And I'm glad to see that some Saturday schools are in mainstream schools now on a Saturday, alongside other community organisations using the schools. So it's starting to come back in again.
Well, I'm in a position in which we can make this happen if there's a concerted effort, particularly here in my borough of Southwark, to see it happen. But it needs to come from the people. It needs to come from the people. I'm just going to bring up this phone call. Sorry about this. I know I've got a caller on the line. I have not officially opened the lines yet, but I'll take the call anyway. Can I ask you, caller? Can I have your name, please? Caller?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, greetings. Grand Rising Day for this day, our parents and ancestors' day. This is Sister Empress.
Oh, greetings, my Empress. How are you? How are you?
Greetings, greetings. Well, we are good. We are good. We give thanks and praises in this raw day with beautiful weather. We just give praises and glorification to the divine creator, Ludumarium, and known by many names. We say,
Thank you.
Jarastafari. Greetings, brother. Greetings. I recognize the brother who's speaking.
Uh-huh.
I'm aware of him. Is brother near?
Yeah, yes. Yes, that's right.
Give
Did you have a
thanks, give
question for
thanks.
him?
Yes. In relation to the churches,
Yeah, go ahead.
in relation to the churches, as you said that you had a meeting, you had a event back in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. As
Yeah,
you
2014.
is it 2014?
Yes,
Yes.
it was recorded on YouTube.
It's recorded on YouTube. Right. Do you think that another one is necessary in terms of given now we see clearly is the suffering through the COVID and the setback that we are now experiencing because of the lockdown, which has impacted the education of our communities, and therefore spaces are need to be looked at again.
Okay.
Could there be another?
Okay, that's a good question. In other words, I don't want to give you more work. Another conference of that type. Look, if that's what the community wants, as I said before, if that's what the community wants, okay, I'd be more than happy to identify a venue in which such a meeting could take place. Okay, but I don't want to put additional work on other people. I'm happy to provide the venue if the people demand such a repeat conference. What do you say, my brethren?
Yeah, I'm done with the talking. You know what? The pastors who've got their head screwed on, if you want to come forward and offer your space to a Saturday school, then just come forward. Because I'm tired of begging people in that community.
I
Tired of
agree.
it. Been doing this for 16 years, you know.
Yes.
Just come forward. Say, look, I got space empty on Saturday morning. Come true.
Yeah. I say again, I'm in a position in which we could make this happen if there was a clear demand, particularly if you live in Southwark. If there's a clear demand, we can make it happen here in Southwark. My Empress, how about you?
Well, in fact, there is change of mindsets and the from 2014 to 2023, there's a lot of shift that has taken place, even amongst amongst us, in terms of lots of the very rigid mindset elders who control those space are in a different position, because they would have been elders. Some of them are unwell, some of them are ancestors now, and so the political landscape inside our community and in broadly, I'm talking about in London here and across England, and the political landscape, what affects us.
It is changing. I agree with you.
It is clear.
My Empress, I'm going to let you go now. Just that there are a few more questions I want to put to the brethren, but keep in touch, okay? And if you, I've got your number here. And what I will do, I'll contact you, because if there's a clear demand from the people, we'll make sure, particularly in Southwark, it will make it happen.
Is that
Southwark?
Yeah, the Youth Learning Network. They were in a church building on a Saturday school. They're having issues now with that venue, so they're looking for a venue. So the Youth Learning Network, which is on the NAB's directory, they are looking for premises because they're having issues with the church they were using at the time. Okay,
I've taken note of that one. We'll make it happen. My Empress, I'm going to let you go now, but thank you for the call. Thank you for the call.
Thank you, sis. Bless.
Thank you. Brilliant. I don't want to get through my other questions because there's useful questions based upon feedback I've had from the audience. Now, the next question for you, can you tell the audience about the NABSS, the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools, and what is its ultimate purpose of its existence?
The ultimate purpose is to give parents the knowledge and whereabouts of supplementary schools so that they can bring their children, to give them the best start possible in their young lives, and and bringing in that early intervention I keep on talking about.
Yes.
So the main priority is to give parents the knowledge. Second priority is to promote the SAT schools, the supplementary schools that are already in existence, and hopefully people can contribute towards those schools, volunteer to those schools, or come in and open another branch of the same school. Because I get a lot of calls from people saying, I want to set up a Saturday school. My first response always is there an existing Saturday school, supplementary school in your area that you can go and join, or possibly go and set up another branch of?
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. Working together, a family that stays together grows together. Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Well said. Well said. And how can a guardian or parent support? Well, in fact, I think my last question is really, you've answered mainly way, but I'll ask it anyway. How can a guardian or parent support the NABSS to ensure its continuation for the next generation? What actions should we as parents, or indeed interested individuals, do to ensure the continuation of the resource that you currently manage?
First priority is share. Don't keep it to yourself. You heard it here. You see me on social networks. Share the information. Up until yesterday, got a phone call from my parents been looking for a supplementary school for about a year or so. Right. You know, she's on Facebook. She's on Twitter. I'm just not sharing that information. I do a tester on my Facebook page, which is Brother Nia Brutal Truth. On Facebook, I put up a tester. I put up a bit of comedy, a bit of nonsense, and I get like 100 comments, and people, they want to chat. Then I put up a link to a Saturday school. Nothing. I put, please share and support our community.
Yes.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If somebody puts up a gang fight, or someone getting stabbed, share it, make it go viral, make this go viral. Make the positive things in our community go viral.
Yes.
Stop drama.
Well,
much.
Yes.
Love the goodness.
Yeah. Okay.
So once then I put at the bottom of the drama link, I said, listen, when I put up something positive on my page, you lot got nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Drama, you all come out the woodwork.
Yes.
And that's when the conversation stops.
It may be a psychosis, of course. It does appear an illness in the community that we want to propagate the negative and are sluggish to promote the positive. You know, now, I find it is. You're right. It is a curious phenomenon. I don't understand it myself. So you and I kind of stand out. We kind of stand out, don't we? We kind of stand out. I get it. We speak differently, yeah? But our attitudes, our intentions are very different. I think it's a psychosis. There's a show I'm going to run in a few months' time in which I'm inviting psychiatrists and psychologists to speak to us about our pathology as African peoples. You know, the pathology. What is it about us that? What is that trend that we have? You know, where does it come from, and how can we break the cycle of negativity? Because unless we do that as adults, we will continue to pass it on to our children. It's psychosis to our. So it's an important cycle to break. But let's start that process. We've got a few minutes. I'm going to officially open what is the new telephone line for the show. And for some reason, I've not had reason to give light to it in previous shows. And we can bring up on the screen, and those of you who are viewing us via YouTube, Facebook, you could see it on the screen. The new number to call if you want to interact with my guest, who is an inspired African. That's what I'm going to say. An inspired African who means what he says and does what he says. Okay, there you are. The number to call is 0203 289 6504. That's the new studio number. And those of you who are familiar, that's the general galaxyafui.net number as well. So it's 0203 289 6504. Love to hear from you. Want to interact? I want to interact particularly with parents of young children. Okay, particularly with parents of young children. I know my co-presenter works with parents of young children. You might have something to say here, Empress Abner. Can you hear us? Empress Abner, you've been very... Oh, there you are, yes.
I can hear you. I think Brother Naya preaches a lot of what I talk about in schools, especially to our parents. And I'm really trying to promote positive things in our community because we do focus on the negatives. And I think it's so important and vital for the next generation to have these positives.
If I may, let me just take the callers as they come in now.
Okay.
Can I take caller with number ending, if I get this right, 8999? Good morning to you. Good morning, caller. Oh, that caller's gone. Okay. Oh, well, go ahead. My Empress, continue. Obviously didn't want to.
I think it's very important, like, you know, even when like they do Black History Month at school, I don't get excited because it's not the way I want Black history to be taught to my son. It's not the way I feel schools try to inform the Black community in the way that they should. So there's a parent who, I don't want to name because she'll get so embarrassed. She does a lot for the Black community. She'll organize events, trips, roller skating, you know, anything that's informative and positive for the Black community. She does it in Southwark, and it's amazing to see the work that she does. And I think, as Brother Naya says, we should do that. And we don't have any supplementary schools in Southwark that I'm aware of. So it would be really good to have that in Southwark. Do we?
Yes.
We do.
Oh, okay. I don't know about it. So
and you've got the Southside Young Leaders Academy.
Okay, I might need that information to pass on to my parents because I do a lot of signposting as well to parents, and I feel like, you know, our parents
before you
forget.
Forgive me, my Empress. So of course the website I showed earlier on is the vital resource we need to.
Okay, that's good.
Yep.
I might take that and use it and promote it to my parents because I have a WhatsApp.
It's regionalised. So you've got London and you've got North, South, East and West London.
Okay. That's fine. I'll definitely put it on my WhatsApp group. I'll send it out to emails. I'll put it in the school's newsletters. I'll use it at the community panels. Wherever I can spread the word, I will definitely do that.
There you go. That's what we want. That's what we want to hear: the spreading the word, the sharing of knowledge. And I think, my brethren, you alluded to that earlier on, being one of the greatest challenges we have in the community. we are blessed to have so many truly talented people in the community, but so many of them go unknown generally to the community. Yeah?
And I mean, you mentioned parents with young children, but probably about a third of the phone calls I get coming in are from grandparents who are
Ooh,
bringing their grandchildren to a supplementary school.
okay, that's all right. Oh, that person's gone again. Really, why do you think that is, my brother?
Because the grandparents are from a older generation where there was a lot of Saturday schools, and maybe they even went to a Saturday school themselves, and maybe their own children are a bit too busy or whatever, so they want their grandchildren to have that experience. So maybe they're helping out their own children to bring the grandchildren to a Saturday school, but
Wow.
they've kind of taken the lead and taken their grandchildren to a Saturday school.
So this is a rally cry to guardians, parents, and grandparents, indeed. Yeah, uncle and aunts. Okay, if you're
Absolutely.
concerned about your child's education, I don't mean purely academic education. I mean cultural education. Yeah, appreciative of who we are as a people. So we can raise their confidence. We are equal amongst the nations of the world. Okay, but it does include academic information as well, but from an African-centric position. In other words, from our viewpoint, our worldview, as opposed to someone else's worldview. So very important. So again, I'm going to encourage callers to call in on 0203 289 6504. We have another call on the line. Let's take, here we are. I called up with number ending 8999. Good morning. Can I have your name, please?
Sorry?
Can I have your name, please, caller?
You know my name when I start talking.
Ah.
So the brother is absolutely right about investment. Because why are you laughing?
Hold on, before you start talking, I just want to say honor and respect to you, because you're another man your narrative is consistent. Yeah? And that, trust me, infers certainty. And certainty infers confidence. And trust me, confidence in our community is what we need to continue to build. So welcome and thank you for calling this morning. So, Brother Kwame, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good indeed. Would you like to speak to my guest?
Well, that's the purpose of the call. So I agree with you in terms of investment, because even where I come from in Ghana, parents, and these are parents who are not necessarily financially well endowed, they are spending tens of thousands of Ghana cedis educating their children.
Yes.
Right? So I don't understand why in this country, as black people, African people, we don't have that same, you could say, joie de vivre as their cousins on the continent who are prepared to scrape and spend every penny that they get to educate their children. And so, my question to the brother is that, are we? I don't know that term supplementary school, because supplementary means to add to what is already there. What is already there is not necessarily conducive for the educational welfare of our children. But nonetheless, let's call it supplementary. I want to ask the guest that if these schools were free, would that entice some other parents to come, or is it a mindset within our adult population that does not value education? Is the reason why these places are not filled? Thank you very much.
Okay, no, it's a profound question. Yeah.
I'll give you a story about a school called Kokai in Finsbury Park. It's now closed. I think in 2015 there was a lot of schools. There was the austerity cuts in 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of supplementary schools across the board lost their funding because councils were cutting back. So in North London alone, there was 5 black African heritage supplementary schools that were going to close down. So I proposed to Kokai, who had their own building, I said, like, why can't 4 other schools come in and share this one building?
Yes.
They couldn't agree, and they all closed down.
Oh.
Kokai, at the time, I think they were charging £4 for parents to go to the school, where other schools were charging £10. They needed more money, so it went up to £6. half the parents didn't come back.
Oh my God.
Extra
£6.
£2. Half the parents didn't come back.
Oh wow.
So I think if it's free, there'll still be an issue. Quite frankly, it should be free. It should be free if our African heritage businesses came in and started supporting our supplementary schools, started sponsoring our schools. I put the word out about that for the last 6 or 7 years. And, you know, like I said, people don't want to share that kind of information. There was back in the day, but the bread used to come along with a brown envelope to the schools back in the 70s, little envelope to come to the schools and support the schools. Now, our supplementary schools should be supported by our African heritage businesses, business support. Our parents or anybody who doesn't have children, you can support a space in a school. I was a single parent for 14 years. I paid for my 2 children to go, plus I paid for 2 other children to go to Saturday school. I'm a broke pocket income support, you know. I was not when I'm broke, you know. So people who have got 15 holidays a year and driving 10 cars, you can't spend £10 a week on supporting a space. Don't support the child, sponsor the space in a school. And that way, the schools will be free. Because at the end of the day, the supplement schools have fees to pay. You know, it'd be nice to also pay the teachers their time to come in on a Saturday.
Yes. Look, you know, I agree 100%, and we need to just get on with it. Stop the talking, you know. Stop the talking. Just get on with it. Let's get organized. I agree with you. Completely agree with you. Don't you worry. I completely agree, and I want to encourage this to happen. Can I believe we may have another caller on the line. But Kwame, can you just hold on there? Can I take this other caller? It's Nana Bonsu, is it? Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Yeah, my heart tep Mutuba 4 in the name of the universe, being that which is greater than ourselves was many Lumare, Nkulu, Lafashe, Mungo, Onyem, Matari, Ra Ashe. Yes, I've been listening to the show for a little while, and my Otep near.
Otep, my brother.
Otep.
You know, made me call in when you said that it should be free. I totally disagree with that, because the amount of money that we spend in our community on frivolous things, stupid things, you know, parents paying like £40 a month, £50 a month, their children to have a bloody phone. The £2, no, it shouldn't be free. But I do agree that the African businesses should partake in sponsoring the schools, in that the schools can do other things. So we can do field trips to, you know, the Teeth Museum and places like that where they have our artifacts. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
And do trips to the country and hire minibuses. Yes. In that aspect, if they sponsor the school, then we can do that. But me no, I for sponsor for them children for free. No, you pay for everything else. You can pay for that.
In other words, we're investing. We're investing. In other words, we're actually investing. We're not paying. We're actually investing in our children. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. But in there, I'm sure you're of the same like mind generally.
As long as the schools are supported, I don't care where the money comes from in our community, but it needs to get there and quick.
What I will say to you all, that if you're in Southwark and you're moved by the issues raised in this show, okay, and there are a number of supplementary schools in Southwark, okay, but they're not coordinated at this stage. But if you're listening supplementary schools, if you're listening parents, guardians, grandparents, niece, uncles and aunties, okay, and you're moved and understand the importance of these schools, contact us, contact me, okay? We can make it happen if you are resolved to work together. We can make it happen if you're in Southwark, the London Borough of Southwark. We can make it happen. Okay.
Also, something to add. And Nia, you was pronouncing Nubia's title incorrect. It's a Nubia African Community Foundation School. That's the actual title of Nubia.
always get it back to front. My apologies. Too early in the morning for me. My apologies.
All righty, people.
Say,
All right. Corders, as you know, I'm almost out of time now, so I'm gonna say
no,
to
I
you,
just wanted to say this one little thing.
please, yes.
You know, Nubia. Ever since the inception of Nubia, no SEBA teachers at Nubia takes payment.
Mm-hmm.
We invest. Now, payment be when our students come back, give back.
Mm-hmm.
Pay. So you invest, and that's the payment you get back. And that's the piece I wanted to add. Okay.
Thank you for that. That's the principles, and I completely agree.
And I've given 2 awards to 2 Nubia SEBAs who have been ex-students and have come back as teachers. So 2 of those SEBAs have gotten awards from NABS.
Oh wow! Thank you.
They are actually the chairs. Now. They now run Nubia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The baton.
The baton. Yes.
Nubia, Siba Aisha and Siba Kojo. They are now the chairs of Nubia. So they run Nubia now. We don't run Nubia. They run it.
Thank you so much for the call. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, I'm almost out of time. Thank you. And Brother Kwame, I want to thank you very much for the call, because always you put forward those profound observations. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to have to move on. I'm going to ask my brother, is there any closing thoughts you want to leave with the audience today? What's your closing thoughts?
I would say, like, if you're passionate about something, don't wait on other people. Just get on with it and do it.
Yes.
If you're waiting on other people, it probably won't get done. Like I say, I'm getting calls from around the UK. Brighton, few parents are down there. Nottingham and Derbyshire. Parents are coming forward and asking for me to go up there and set up a Saturday school. No, I'm not going to travel around the country setting up a Saturday school. What I would say to them is, put the word out for other like-minded parents. Come together, find the premises, whether it's a church or someone's front yard, like we did back in the day, and just get on with it.
Thank you so much. I need to get you back here, and this time the gap won't be quite so large, because truly you've inspired people. There's no doubt about this. And I just want to say again, and this may be the only time I've been able to say this to you, I want to thank you for the contribution you've made to not a few people's lives, but tens of thousands of people's lives. I want to thank you from the top of my heart, and long may you continue in your work. Thank you so much on behalf of the community. Praise be.
I'm here to serve. Thank
you. In that case, I'm going to bid you today goodwill. I will continue to promote your website. And I say again, if you come across individuals who are the parents, teachers, or those who manage schools in my borough of Southwark, I'd love to network with them, and we will strengthen our supplementary school network in the borough of Southwark. I'm in a position to make it happen. So we get beyond the talking. We are going to concern ourselves with the action, delivering on our words.
Yeah, so in Southwark, get in touch with the Youth Learning Network. The Youth Learning Network, run by Kwame Oklu. They've been going for like good 15, 16 years, same time as now, about 16 years. They need help. They need teachers and they need resources. So get them some help.
I give you this promise. I will contact them today. Thank you. Wow. Thank you, my brethren. Stay well. Get some rest. Okay? Get some rest. And give my regards to your family. Yeah? Give my regards to your family. One love to you. One love to you. Bye-bye. Right. Bye-bye. One love to you. One love. Wow. Isn't that something, huh? Isn't that something? What an outstanding person he is, huh? Empress, are you still there?
I'm still there. He makes me laugh. He's very direct and very straight to the point. I like people, I like people like that. So that's kind of people I like to roll with. So it's good.
I know that. I'm going to make sure you have the website details.
Please do. Please do.
It'll be on your device in a few minutes. Don't be assured, okay? But
thank you.
The whole purpose of these shows, of course, as you know, is to inspire. Okay, so that we get beyond the words and we translate it into action. Okay, I've just put the information on your device. So you've got it now. You've got the website details. I will promote the website details both on the show, and if you're a recipient of our WhatsApp messages or indeed our Instagram messages, please take note of the website. Contact the website. All the resources are there, but they need your absolute support. Give a modest donation every week. You know, for every pound that you contribute, you've got 1,000 people doing the same. We can ensure this resource remains available to us all. Okay, so I hope the people who are listening, those who are viewing us, are passionate enough to put their hand in their pockets, or indeed their digital hands, as it were, and make that small contribution to ensure that vital importance in resource is made available for now and well into the future. Okay. Our time is now up. I'm going to say to you all, thank you for making this a truly rewarding experience. Empress, do you want to say a closing word?
Have a blessed weekend, everybody.
Oh, she's so vital, huh? So vital. Oh, la, la.
I don't know if I'm vital. I don't know if I'm like the vitamins that we take, but yeah, I'm vital for something. But yeah.
Hey, we have energy. Come on now. Huh? Oh, my gosh.
It's too early in the morning for the excitement. Too early. When you went to bed at 2 o'clock, it's too early.
All right.
But, yeah.
Well, you're doing well. And I need to talk to you later because, we've got to continue to build, okay? I'm going to continue to build. So what I'm going to do...
Yeah, I've got to prepare for my Wednesday event, so I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, God.
I'm now putting up my video, a little trailer video. I'm going to close this part of the show down, and please read the trailer video. It has words to inspire. Okay, so Empress Abner, please stay well, stay close. We love you. Stay strong. Okay. Oh, she's gone now. Oh, she's gone already. Okay. Well, in that case, I say to you all, thank you for making this a truly rewarding experience. Stay strong. Until the next one, I am the motivator.